this is a rain garden. It doesn't look like it's anything other than a bunch of plants, but it's at the end of the driveway, and so all the rain that comes down the driveway gets into this area, which is lower than the driveway, and it provides a deposit for the rain so that it can sink into the aquifer rather than flowing down into the lake, which then flows down into the river, which then flows down into the sound, and we're without our drinking water because we need to replenish our aquifers. Aquifers are an underground series of holes that are in the rocks or between bits of gravel. They're not to be confused with the water table, which is the level of the water. They're the deposits of gravel, mostly gravel, and the cracks in the rock that are linked with our streams. And you can see when the stream goes down, aquifer is going down. We rely on our rains, and in New England we usually have quite a few rainfalls to get our aquifers replenished. So if you can, in some place on your property, make a depression so that instead of the water running into the gutter in the street, it sinks into the ground. You're doing yourself a great favor in preserving your drinking water. I'll show you another little area, which is over here, in which it doesn't look like much, but under here, the water goes in under a pipe and goes way over there to where the pachysandra is, and that is where another depression is that will hold the water before it goes into the stream and into the lake. One more thing about rain gardens or preserving your aquifer is this, that if you draw down your water so that the water table goes down, you're attracting all of the pollutants from the surrounding area. So if your neighbor is using glyphosate or a Roundup, a weed killer, or a pesticide, or has bacteria around, that can go into your aquifer and your drinking water. It used to be that wells were 100 feet, even 50 feet. Now people are drilling down to 500 feet, 600 feet, and that means that the aquifers above that are being depleted. So we're in a dangerous time. We need to protect our rainwater. We need to get our water into the ground so that we have good drinking water if we're on wells. If we're on the town water, slightly different matter. The other thing is you need to clean your septic system often, otherwise those bacteria can go into your drinking water. And the drinking water, of course, is so important. If we run out of that, we are in trouble. But you can do things about it that are very simple, such as rain gardens, not using pesticides, not using herbicides, not watering your lawn in the heat of the summer. Establish your lawns either in the spring or the fall, and having depressions in your garden so that the water can get into the ground. There isn't really anything, I think, aesthetically pleasing about a lawn that doesn't have weeds in it. Think about cultivating a lawn that has other plants in it that can absorb the water and not just have that water run off into the stream and into the gutters. Trees are a wonderful asset to your wells and drinking water because they allow the rainwater and the snow to be slowly introduced into the ground. They catch it in their branches, and the other part of the tree that is so valuable to our drinking water is its root system. It absorbs water. It almost sponges it up, gallons of worth, and then slowly releases it in times when we have a drier session. So if you can plant trees or not cut down trees, that would be very good. Streams become wider and wider if we don't let our water sink into the ground in our yard, because we have so many impervious surfaces. We have our pavement, we have our rooftops, even the swimming pool acts as an impervious surface. And when our streams become wider and wider, it takes down the trees along the bank. And although volunteers try to replant the trees, we are suffering. Our streams are suffering because they're getting wider and wider with the big swoosh of water that comes in when the rain or the storm comes down. And that big swoosh of water is too much for the streams that exist now, that have existed for time immemorial since the glaciers. So if you can get that little depression now and again in your yard and plant those trees and save those trees, that's a very good thing. I'm Pat Barkman. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to see the others, please subscribe, please press like, and I'll see you next time.